I feel like I have courage and can speak out is because David, he's like, why don't people just say how they feel? And why can't, what's hard about a conversation? He didn't understand what could be hard about a conversation. He just, if you have to say it, then say it. I'm like, oh my gosh. I know. I agree.
Isabelle Brown, one of the daughters from the sister wives family, is currently facing a lawsuit in Utah. Many viewers have been asking why this case is being discussed, but the reason is simple. This channel covers everything related to the sister wives cast, whether it's personal issues, legal matters, or stories connected to their public lives. In the past, cases involving other family members, like Peyton Brown being sued in Nevada, have also been reported. Isabelle's case is just another example of how the family continues to face challenges even off camera. The lawsuit against Isabelle is connected to a car accident that happened a couple of years ago. According to the plaintiff, Isabelle was driving during heavy traffic hours on a busy Utah highway. The woman suing her claims Isabelle was following too closely and driving at a speed that wasn't safe for the traffic conditions. When the cars ahead suddenly slowed down, Isabelle allegedly crashed into the car in front of her. That impact supposedly caused a chain reaction where multiple vehicles collided. These types of accidents are not uncommon, but they can get complicated when it comes to figuring out who is at fault. The woman who filed the lawsuit says she suffered injuries, both physical and emotional. She claims the accident led to medical expenses, pain, and even a loss of enjoyment in her daily life. Some fans believe this is an exaggerated attempt to seek money, possibly because Isabelle's family is known from television. Others, however, argue that if Isabelle did cause the accident, she should take responsibility. Despite the accusations, Isabelle isn't just sitting back. She has hired an attorney, filed her official response, and even requested a jury trial. This shows she is prepared to fight the case head-on rather than quietly settling it. In her legal reply, Isabelle admits certain basic facts. She had a valid driver's license, she had completed driver's education, and she was indeed driving that day on I-15. She also admits she rear-ended another vehicle. But she denies being fully responsible for everything that followed. Her defense argues that while she may have struck one car, she cannot confirm or accept blame for the additional collisions that occurred after the first impact. Isabelle's lawyers suggest that other drivers or circumstances could have contributed to the chain reaction. They also argue that the plaintiff hasn't provided enough evidence to prove all the claims being made, especially about long-term injuries and emotional suffering. Essentially, Isabelle is saying, yes, she was involved in the crash, but no, she does not accept the claim that every injury or problem that followed is entirely her fault. In lawsuits like this, denial is often a strategic step. Without a detailed crash investigation or clear evidence, it can be very difficult to determine exactly who caused what damage. This case may take time to play out in court. Whether the jury believes Isabelle was negligent or whether they see the accident as a shared responsibility among several drivers will ultimately decide the outcome. For now, what's clear is that Isabelle is standing her ground and refusing to accept blame for everything the plaintiff claims. Isabelle Brown's legal situation is getting more complicated, and a lot of people are still trying to understand what's going on. She admits she rear-ended another car, but her defense is built on the idea that she shouldn't automatically be blamed for everything that followed. In her official response, she argues that all drivers involved in the accident should have their actions compared, and fault should be divided fairly. That means even though she hit one car, she believes the other vehicles may share some responsibility, especially if they were also in motion when the crash happened. Isabelle is basically asking the court to consider whether anyone else played a part and, if so, whether damages should be split instead of placed entirely on her. She also raises another key point. She suggests that evidence might show the plaintiff did not take proper steps to limit her own injuries. For example, if the woman wasn't wearing a seatbelt, if her airbags didn't deploy, or if she reacted in a way that worsened the situation, those factors could be considered. Isabelle is making the case that not every injury can be traced directly back to her actions. Another argument in her defense involves insurance coverage. Isabelle says if the plaintiff's personal injury protection already paid for medical treatment or related expenses, then any amount already covered by insurance should be deducted from what she's asking for in court. Basically, Isabelle doesn't believe she should be forced to pay for costs that have already been handled through insurance policies. This leads to an interesting question: why isn't this matter being handled between insurance companies instead of in court? Typically, car accidents are dealt with through insurers, but in this case, the plaintiff filed a direct lawsuit. That might mean her insurance didn't cover everything, or she wants compensation beyond what Utah's no-fault system provides. Utah is what's called a no-fault insurance state, meaning each driver's insurance pays for their own medical bills and related expenses, no matter who caused the crash. Every driver in Utah is required to carry at least $3,000 in personal injury protection. This insurance covers hospital bills, lost wages, certain household services if the injured person can't perform them, and even funeral expenses in fatal crashes. However, it doesn't cover things like emotional distress, ongoing pain, or loss of enjoyment in life. Those kinds of damages can only be claimed if the injuries are very serious. To step outside of Utah's no-fault system and sue another driver directly, the injured person has to prove that their medical costs were over $3,000 and that their injuries are severe, things like permanent scarring, loss of a body part, or lasting disabilities. If those conditions are met, they can go beyond insurance and try to hold another driver responsible in court. That's when lawsuits like this one come into play. What seems unusual here is the timing. The accident happened a couple of years ago, yet the lawsuit is only surfacing now. On top of that, the documents are vague and don't even list the exact date of the crash, which is uncommon in legal filings. Normally, lawsuits spell out specific details to strengthen the claim. The lack of clarity raises questions about why the case is being pursued this way and what the real motive behind it might be. For now, Isabelle is standing firm. She's denying full responsibility, pointing to possible mistakes by other drivers, and relying on legal protections in Utah's system. Whether the court agrees with her or sides with the plaintiff will depend on how much evidence comes out and whether the injuries truly meet the state's strict requirements for a lawsuit outside of insurance. The lawsuit against Isabelle Brown continues to raise questions, mostly because of how vague the complaint really is. Normally, when someone files a case like this, they attach supporting documents, such as a crash report, a ticket, or medical records, that prove who caused the accident and what the injuries were. In this case, none of that was included. The complaint simply states that the plaintiff suffered bodily injuries, some of which may be permanent. That wording alone feels uncertain. After 2 years, a person would usually know if an injury is permanent. For example, if someone had a head injury, spinal damage, or another serious condition, doctors would be able to confirm the long-term impact by now. The phrase "may be permanent" makes the claim look less convincing. This vagueness could help Isabelle. Her legal team can argue that the case doesn't provide enough detail to support such a serious lawsuit. If there's no clear evidence of permanent disability or long-lasting harm, the plaintiff's case may not meet Utah's requirements for suing beyond the no-fault insurance system. Another issue is that the plaintiff didn't explain exactly what injury she has or how much money she spent on treatment. She also didn't attach any accident reports, police records, or tickets to back up her version of events. Without those documents, the court doesn't have much to go on. Isabelle can argue that the plaintiff hasn't proven her claims, making the case weaker from the start. In Utah, winning a case like this isn't easy. The state has strict thresholds that must be met. A person has to show they spent more than $3,000 on medical care and that they suffered serious or permanent injuries. Just saying someone was injured isn't enough. The lack of details in the complaint could make it difficult for the plaintiff to move forward successfully. There's also another angle Isabelle can take. She has the right to ask the court to review all parties involved in the crash. If any of the other drivers were speeding, distracted, or breaking the law at the time, they could share responsibility. That means the blame wouldn't automatically fall only on Isabelle. Since no official crash reports were included in the complaint, there's no way to know what the other drivers were doing when the accident happened. This leaves plenty of room for Isabelle to defend herself. The insurance issue is another strange part of this story. In Utah, drivers are required to carry car insurance, and most cases like this are handled between insurance companies rather than through direct lawsuits. The plaintiff hasn't claimed that Isabelle was uninsured, so it's unclear why she isn't going through Isabelle's insurance provider. This choice raises questions about whether the lawsuit is more about seeking extra money than covering medical costs. Overall, the case looks unusual. The lack of details, the timing, filing it 2 years later, and the fact that Isabelle's family is on reality TV all make it appear suspicious. Isabelle has hired a lawyer, and from the looks of it, she has a strong chance to challenge the lawsuit. Whether the court sides with her or the plaintiff will depend on what evidence actually comes out, but for now, Isabelle seems to have plenty of room to fight back. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, follow for more updates, and subscribe to the channel. Your support keeps us going.